Hey everyone, welcome to the first ever edition of Winning Formula. I'm Jim Williams, and the man, the legend, Sean Miller's with me. Sean, how
Hey,
you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm fine. It's exciting. This week we're launching our show about Formula One, and it happens to be on the same weekend that they visit South Beach.
You're not finding a better. I know there's some pretty good courses in pretty good cities, but I doubt they're going to find anything better than South Beach and this course. And people have been so enthusiastic about it. And this is, there's going to be 2 races in the U.S. this year, and then next year there's
Right,
going to be 3, which is
right.
going to be absolutely amazing. So really cool.
Yeah, and the thing is that the original course in Miami they wanted to do down by the waterfront, but they couldn't get the okay from the city to do it. So they've built a course, and we're going to take a look at it in a couple of minutes. But they built a course that is at Hard Rock Stadium, which is where the Miami Dolphins play,
Yeah.
and also at the Tennis Center, which is where the Miami Open is played. So it's kind of an interesting kind of a pop-up course, if you will. Part of it is actually paved as if it were a legit F-1 track, and part of it is the actual parking lot at Miami. And so drivers I've spoken to before, Sean, will tell you that when they get on that hard surface, like a road that you and I might travel on,
Yep.
like they do in Long Beach and in in St. Petersburg and some of the other IndyCar places. Basically, their problem is that if they get on that and they start going, more than a couple hours on it, they basically can lose feeling in their feet because of the pounding that it takes. So this is an interesting course, and let's take a look at it. Hang on one second, and here we go. This is the course they're going to run on. So as you can see, there's the stadium in the foreground, and it's basically, as you can see, kind of looks like a slot car track from there.
Yeah.
But it's you can see it's built out. There's a lot of areas for stands. Supposedly a very good place to see the race, and it should be quite interesting to see how this track, how the drivers look at this track and warm up to it.
Yeah, and this year has obviously been really interesting already.
Hmm.
The end of last year's season. I know the drivers are when I used to go to the Montreal race every year,
Hmm.
and
Right.
some of these the cities they go to it's really glamorous, and it's
Hmm.
Formula One is really glamorous. So, a lot of European royalty follows it, and
Hmm.
the Ferrari races on Wednesdays. But now, due to the Netflix series, I think last year Drive to
Hmm.
Survive. It's been just it's been blowing up, and obviously the end of the season last year.
Right.
Uh, you know, Lewis Hamilton had won so many titles in a row, and really.
Hmm.
If you talk to a lot of the Formula One people, the ending was a little more than controversial. Uh,
Hmm.
Verstappen ended up winning, and now this year, the power plants in these engines, which are the engines are 60-70 million dollar engines. I mean, they're just
Hmm.
absolutely just machines. And it's interesting because Ferrari, who had been back for they'd been kind of second, third, fourth down the list for a little while, and they're back.
Hmm.
And Charles Leclerc has been fantastic, and at the top now, it's Leclerc has won a couple races, Verstappen's won a couple races, and Lewis Hamilton hasn't. He's basically said, I have no chance to win the title this year. So
Right.
it's just really Formula One is really cool because the car matters, but the drivers obviously matter too. But from
Hmm.
year to year, you can kind of tell who's it's going to be the teams Williams or Ferrari.
Right.
But it's it depends. Right now, it's Ferrari and Red Bull, and Mercedes
Right.
is way down the list. Whereas Mercedes was dominant for 5-6 years.
Right. One of the things that I thought was most interesting over the past couple of weeks is that Volkswagen has given the okay for Audi and Porsche to enter the fray. And you got to
Yeah.
believe, and this is one, for those of you who are not F1 fans, and Sean and I will try to school you in this, but um, you could see a Williams car or a, you know, number of different cars that you see out there, Red Bull being one of them as well, where the power plant is can be any engine. It could be a Ferrari engine, even though they're chasing Ferraris, there'll be a it could be a Honda engine, which I believe is what Red Bull's running right now. And then of course you've got Renault and a number of others. So when you put Porsche and you put the folks from Audi involved in this, Sean, your thoughts? I mean, they are blue bloods in racing just like Ferrari and Mercedes are.
Yeah.
So I think this is kind of like goes to your point about how amped up F1 is now.
Yeah, I think Formula One at this point now is just when I started going in 99, 2000, 2001 to
Mm-hmm.
Montreal, and it was still obviously it's big, and it's big
Mm-hmm.
in Europe and around the world, but now I just think it's just becoming this massive thing. It's all over the world. It's getting really popular in America. The races are always on
Mm-hmm.
TV now. The cool thing about the races as compared to some of these other ones, it's an hour and a half, it's over. Uh,
Right.
I think some I think it's why soccer's become a little bit more popular because
Mm-hmm.
some people don't have 5 hours to sit around and see watch a race or whatever.
Right.
If you have an hour and a half, you could sit watch the whole race, and the races are
Mm-hmm.
early in the morning a lot of times, so you can do
Right.
that and kind of go about your day. So I know it's become really popular in
Mm-hmm.
America, and it's just with this extra race in Miami this weekend
Mm-hmm.
should really just blossom, and then obviously next year the first Saturday night race and in Las Vegas through the canyons of the casinos with the light. It's going to be absolutely unreal. So, it's definitely getting bigger. And, when you add a team like Volkswagen and Porsche and Audi, when you
Mm-hmm.
add this into it, it just becomes even bigger, and they're going to put money behind it. And to try to make a big splash. So,
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden, maybe now 22, now 24 cars in it, and it's just going to maybe get a little bit bigger, which is always good.
Absolutely. Let's go to your charts. I know you've got some interesting charts to look at and a lot of interesting wagering going on.
Yeah, definitely. Let me share my screen here. Share screen window. So you look here, the first free practice. So there's Friday as the practice, right?
Right.
So you got the practice on Friday, then you have the qualifying on Saturday and the actual race on Sunday. So,
Mm-hmm.
you can bet on the driver to register the fast lap. So you have the winner here, fast lap, Leclerc plus 150 and Verstappen plus 150, the two best drivers and the two best cars right now. Carlos Sainz has been very good as well, plus
Yeah.
450. And you see Lewis Hamilton way down there, plus 3,300. I think he's a 7-time champion. And you can also bet on them to finish in the top three. So you obviously, Leclerc and Verstappen are going to be 1, 2, 3 at some point. So, there's a little bit of value here for maybe Carlos Sainz and maybe Sergio Perez, who's had pretty good year this year at plus 110. And obviously, when you
Mm-hmm.
go down to get into the top three is tough. There's 20 participants. You see it, Pierre Gasly, Fernando Alonso, obviously
Mm-hmm.
4-time champion who's been very good. Lando Norris has been pretty good over the years, but not a lot of confidence in him to do well. And obviously, you see Sebastian Vettel and some of the people driving those cars at the end. So you can bet on the actual car
Mm-hmm.
is going to win, or the team that's going to have the best race. Right now, Ferrari is minus 118, Red Bull is plus 100, and that's basically it. You can
Yeah.
bet Mercedes, but the thing about Formula One too is, and it was interesting. I remember right before Lewis Hamilton took over, I think Vettel had won 4,
Right.
and Hamilton took over, and you go into the off season, and the odds were like all of a sudden it was like Lewis Hamilton to win and Mercedes to and it was coming off this 4 straight wins for Vettel, and you're like, wait, why is this odds like this? But they know which cars are good. So if you see these odds like this, Ferrari and Red Bull, the books know. So you want to probably back one of those two at this point.
Well, from my standpoint, I think that Verstappen, I really like Red Bull here.
Yep.
Because I think that if you look at the tracks that he's run well on, he's done well, at Monte Carlo, which is a road course, basically is a street course. This is, as we said, this is kind of the Miami race is kind of a hybrid. Part of the race is going to be on what normally would be the surfaces they're used to riding on a proper track. And part of it is going to be a bit of a street feel to it. So as time goes by, I think this really favors Red Bull because of the fact that they seem to do well in in the kind of quote unquote mixed track setting.
And then they have the matchups as well. Now remember, this is only for the practice sessions on Friday. So some cars are still working out, how to get on, what they're supposed to do on the track and the drivers. So you have best finishing position only in the practice on Friday. Lewis Hamilton minus 139 against George Russell plus 100. Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz Jr. Max Verstappen, obviously huge favorite. But, some of these other ones, Daniel Ricciardo and Lando Norris. So you can go down the list a little bit and maybe make some value against these guys that are going to finish, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. Right. So I think that's pretty interesting.
I like, it's a good point you brought up. The Friday thing is wonderful. I mean, there's, I honestly think that if you watch the practices where I'm, no pun intended, where I'm bullish on Red Bull is great, but Ferrari tends to do very well practice day.
Yes. Yeah, I think, those cars are just the setup better. And you find, obviously with the Ferrari and the Red Bull right now, since the cars are already, it's fifth race and they're already kind of primed for the season or
right.
So they're ready to go here. Fifth race. And, they're ready. So some of these other people are using the practices, but the Ferraris and the Red Bulls are already kind of set up to go out there and really dominate on that practice day. They're just doing little tweaks to see what they need to do on this race, but on this track. So, I can kind of give you an edge. And the thing about Friday is, these times, I believe it will be tomorrow at 2:30. So that gives you some time to look at Saturday's matchups for qualification. Now, when you start to look at qualification, so you can use the times from Friday and you can use all that stuff that you can here. So now Saturday is more about, the actual qualification for the race.
Right.
And, now Max Verstappen is plus 110. Charles Leclerc is plus 150. So there's a little bit different odds there to get the pole position because now, the way they qualify is different too. If you've ever, I don't know if the people have seen the qualification, but, you go out there and if you don't set a certain time, you're out after the first qualification. And then you get to keep going if you still are. So then it's really at the end, it's really the best cars going out there and trying to, go against each other and put that fastest time out. So you see Verstappen minus 1,000 to be in the top 3, obviously. It basically, where your value comes is, if you think maybe Sainz Jr. or Sergio Perez is maybe that third person in
right.
the 3 and in the second row there, first or second row, obviously. And there is some value there, Sergio Perez, obviously plus 800 to win the pole. Maybe he doesn't, but at minus 112 to finish in the top 3, that offers you some pretty good value.
It does, and the other thing is, we really didn't. Well, we did talk about him to an extent, but this might be where a Lewis Hamilton gets an opportunity to showcase his talents, on South Beach. I mean, Lewis Hamilton spends a lot of time in Miami,
Yeah.
so it's. I'm not going to say it's his home course because it's nobody's home course. It just
Yeah.
popped up, but
Yep.
I think there's there's a lot of endorsement stuff, and Lewis Hamilton's at a part in his career, and Mercedes is a place in their career that doing well in Miami is not going to hurt them.
Definitely.
So I'm thinking um, if you put Hamilton down as kind of like one of the dark horses for the top three cars, it wouldn't surprise me at all that he's there. It also wouldn't surprise me, as you were saying earlier, that one of the Ferraris sneaks up in there.
Definitely. And you see that plus 500 right there. And
Mm.
yeah, I think that's pretty interesting. Obviously, Lando Norris, you see right there. Lando Norris is one of these guys that he's very popular in England, obviously.
Mhm.
And every once in a while he'll just pop up with this crazy race and he'll just do really
Right.
well. And the pole position and where you are in the race obviously is very important for where you finish. So if you see somebody maybe up there and maybe a little bit higher than they are, maybe you can bet on them to finish the race obviously for Sunday. And then same thing, you have teams for Saturday qualification. Red Bull is minus 125, Ferrari plus 100, and then Mercedes plus 2500. So basically, once again, literally 2-horse race. Ferrari is one of the horses, with their logo and everything, but some of these other, Williams plus 20 plus 200,000. Wow. I remember, back in the day, Williams was, really good, and Aston Martin's there. I mean, these guys, they're so far down, really no chance to qualify top, but always a chance for one of those drivers to finish in the top 10 points and maybe sneak into that and maybe get you some money as well on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
They have the matchups again, a lot of numbers, and then performance to win pole position here. You have Leclerc, yes, plus 140, no, minus 200. Verstappen, yes, plus 110, no, minus 155. So a little bit different way maybe to bet it. Maybe you don't think Max Verstappen is going to get the pole position, so you take a minus 155. Just a little different way to bet it.
Yeah.
If you're a little down on after Friday's practice, and you say, you know what, Verstappen's not going to get it, I'm going to put no, minus 155. It's just a different way. And then you don't have to pick who's going to get it.
Right.
You just have to say he's not going to get it.
Right.
So
It's like the old golf situation where you could bet the field versus Tiger.
Yeah. Yep. Or like last for the NCAA tournament during the pandemic, it was from like January. It was so crazy. You'd have Baylor and Gonzaga minus 118 and everybody else minus 118, and people were like, I'm gonna take the field. And the final was Baylor and Gonzaga. Like everybody knew it was gonna be Baylor and Gonzaga. But here it's the same. You got the same thing. It's really Ferrari and Red Bull. But every once in a while you get a like you said, Lewis Hamilton maybe show up here and play well. So there's some definite, the matchups. You see Hamilton against George Russell. That's one you had from Friday as well. You kind of see the same matchups. They try to do the people that are close in the points. So they over the course of 4 races, you're not picking like second versus 16.
Well, it's kind of like boxing
7.
where they try to get the averages, so that one doesn't outweigh the other. We're gonna have to start wrapping it up here. So, with that,
let's look
give
at
me your thoughts of what to look for both on Sunday. I'm sorry. No, yeah, Saturday and Sunday is what I was going to say. So
Yeah,
go
I
for it.
think you gotta. I think you gotta look at the two Leclerc and Verstappen. Here's the
Right.
if you're kind of in this patterns. Leclerc won race 1 in Bahrain. Verstappen won race 2. Leclerc won race 3. Verstappen won race 4. So if you like that pattern, maybe you go
Right.
race 5 here. You see
Right.
plus 140 here as the winner. So that's pretty interesting. I think maybe I'll take a chance on Ferrari and Leclerc to win the race at a little bit better value than Red Bull.
Right. And then the third one, I honestly think it's going to be Ferrari, Red Bull, Ferrari.
I think that could be interesting. And you see here, finish top 2 Verstappen and Leclerc,
Mm-hmm.
finish top 6. So now that's where maybe you got Lewis Hamilton at minus 134 and
Sure.
then finish top 10. So there's definitely some ways to do it. But yeah, I think Ferrari. I think my play would be Leclerc here and
Mm-hmm.
go with the pattern here. They winning every other race and.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Leclerc the first day benefited from Verstappen kind of
Mm-hmm.
crashing out. So
Right. No,
definitely interesting stuff here.
for sure. And I just to be contrary, as I said earlier when we started, Verstappen, and I think Red Bull will be there, but it's not a bad bet on Ferrari for sure.
Definitely. Yep. You see
Yeah.
that Ferrari at plus 110. I think it just if you're a little bit of value better, it just
Yeah.
offers you a little bit of value compared to
No, you're right.
well.
Yeah. There's a lot to be said for not going chalk, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
There you go. All right, everybody. It's been a lot of fun. We appreciate you dropping by, and we'll have another one for you next week. Sean, thanks so much for everything, and we will see you today at 4 o'clock on your show.
Definitely. Yeah. 4 o'clock talking a little Friday action. So
There you go, big guy. All right, thanks a lot. Have a great day.